You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
Hey guys, I'm usually coming in hot, but today I think I need to come in real. My 13-year-old national group travel company was pretty much close to shutting down. I've somehow turned a negative into a positive, but it took about a week straight worth of strategy since all this has gone down. My team and I put together an 11 series best of episode, which I call Coping with COVID in Business and Life. Business owners and employees are going through dire times right now. They're losing their jobs and shutting down their business. I know it firsthand because I recently had to let go of the majority of my employees. A 13-year-old company broken down in a matter of days. I'll rebuild it and I'll make it better and I'll make it stronger. And I want to make all of you just as optimistic as I am. So in a world of nothing but negative news and drama right now, and being forced to do nothing but take in all of this terrible content on the news, my team and I focused all of our attention to bring you the stories of how others have overcome rock bottom, to show you that with great obstacles and challenges come great opportunities. This special series is the collection of the answers of my guest of one of the most powerful questions that I ask day in and day out, 7 days per week on my show. That question is simple. Give me a time where you've hit rock bottom and were able to overcome that disaster. Listen to these stories. Realize that it's a part of the journey and understand that you are not alone. And rolling up your sleeves is nothing new to you. Listen, learn, and get to work. You got this, Life Nation. Now go get it done.
I opened a solo practice over 25 years ago. And we are not trained, as you said, in medical school to think of it as a business. So I think I suffered from imposter syndrome for many years, where I just thought I was this doctor tending to patients, and I happened to have bills to pay and staff to manage. And it wasn't up until maybe 5 or 6 years into the practice that I owned it. And I said, listen, this is a business and I need to start running it as a business. And I started reading up on business. I got some business books, some tools. The American Academy of Family Physicians, that group is really good. And they would put out the business side of a practice and how to market a practice and run an efficient practice. So I learned a lot from them. But truthfully, I think almost once a year when the numbers go down or there's an epidemic and I feel that I have not prepared well enough for it and we're short of supplies, because as you know, on an island, you have to try and think ahead because a lot of our supplies are imported. So if there's an epidemic and you're not prepared for it, you run out of supplies, you run out of medication, you call the pharmacy and the pharmacy has run out because we didn't anticipate 60% of our population to have a particular disease. So I have now learned that it's part of the business journey. And every time I think I hit rock bottom, I learn something new and I take it to the following year and I build on those lessons. So I no longer, I think I used rock bottom as a stepping stone.
When I was starting my career, that was like 8 years ago, I moved, I had a really comfortable job. Yeah, this was like 10 years ago. I had a really comfortable job. I was doing recruiting for a big company here in Argentina and whatnot. And I decided to pursue this entrepreneurial dream, whatever that meant, right, back in the day. And I didn't have it clear, but what I decided to do was to leave my job, and I moved in with my girlfriend to a nice city down here in Argentina called Cordoba, and without a safety net, she had a job, I didn't. Without a safety net, and I was trying to do everything. I was trying to learn as much as possible. I remember I was selling link building packages on Fiverr back in the day,
Yeah.
So I used to do that. And that's how I got started. But the reality is that, it got really tight because she had a job, I didn't. At some point, we spent 6 months. I was trying to figure this thing out, this internet marketing thing, this digital marketing thing out. And at some point it got really tight. Yeah. It got so tight that we didn't have money to heat up the house. I was writing articles for $5, $4 a pop. That was really tough. But that taught me a lot. That really showed me that, you can overcome that. You can learn your way through the obstacles. That showed me, that you need to stick at it, because at some point something will come through. At some point something will pop up that will allow you to start doing more of it. And I just stuck to it, and that allowed me to have some resilience in terms of, well, if something doesn't work, what do? Well, you try the next thing. And if that doesn't work, what do? Well, you try something else. And if that doesn't work, what do? Well, you try something else, and all of that. So that helped me really focus and narrow down on what I wanted to do. Yeah. And that's how I started getting my first clients. People started reaching out outside of Fiverr. They will start like hiring me personally and whatnot. So that was quite a ride.
I owned the second biggest nightclub in the state of West Virginia. So I don't know. That doesn't West Virginia. We're all hicks out there anyway. But and then in 1988, the drinking age went from 18 to 21, and I was 7 days a week for 6 years to build this up, on my way to being a millionaire before I was 30. And then the drinking age hit and pretty much wiped me out.
Yep.
And there was a big lesson here that I like to convey to your listeners, in that I immediately refused to go bankrupt. I went to every creditor, banks, the equipment, vehicles, beer distributors, everybody. I went to them right away. And I said, look, you know me, and I'm not going to screw you. You just got to give me time, and I'm going to pay you off. I'm not going to go bankrupt. And to this day, I'll bet you a lot of them remember that, because most people would just say, I'll just go on to something else and forget about it. But it was a real character builder. When you build a reputation that you can be trustworthy and you're not going to screw people over, that carries you a long way, and it sets you far apart from the crowd, because it's getting harder and harder to find people like that lately.
Hey guys, Michael Olivas here. I've cut my coaching rates nearly in half, and I've added some time to my daily calendar to help you, our listeners, with your business in this time of need. If you were let go, or if you finally feel like in the midst of all this, you've been motivated to finally start your own company, let's talk about my affordable startup advising package that will give you from idea to revenues fast. If you are trying to simply keep your company alive after this terrible epidemic, I will give you some great valuable tactics on how I did it, on how to not just let employees go or shut down shop. Let me help you keep your businesses alive and thriving. I can't help everyone, but you won't know if I can help you or not until you schedule a quick 20-minute call at michaelolivas.com/coaching.
People don't realize that it is all about being in the fire. Like, that is what being an entrepreneur is. Yeah. It is the greatest personal development journey ever, let alone professional development journey. Like, it is incredible. So I can give you many times when it felt like it was just the end. And one story that comes to mind is, I have an event that I've done for this will be I just completed it a couple weeks ago, Design Your Destiny Live. I've done it for 12 years. And 1 year when I was sharing with people and really pouring out my soul, I had someone who I had brought in to speak, who I truly trusted, who went to every single person in the event and sent them a text and said, you should really work with me instead, because I can provide better services. Wow. And why do I say it was a rock bottom? Because it was a betrayal, and because it made me question my value, which I was clear was solid. It made me question people. And then the financial impact was significant to my business. Now, what I'll say is, I really believe that those experiences are the best gifts. Every time I have something that rocks me to my core, I trust that the universe and God, because that's not what everybody believes in, but I believe in God, has got my back and is simply closing something so that something more magnificent can show up. And so what happened didn't happen immediate. It took about 6 months, and I ended up having a highly profitable and productive year with less overhead and less, heavy lifting, if you say. There were more partners that came in to just leverage and ease the load. And I was really pretty clear that this was painful. And one other piece that is important to share is that 2.5 years ago, I was pretty close. I was pretty clear that I was going to close my business down. I had someone do something, and a couple other just series of betrayals where I had trusted people, had given them money, and they didn't deliver. And I just was like, I'm done, God. And so I went to Costa Rica with the intention of closing my business down, giving my clients back the money that they had given me, and just stepping out. And Mike, I heard God's voice say, "This is yours to do." And I said, "What's mine to do?" I was angry. Yeah. And I heard "Design Your Destiny" live. And I often hear a voice. And awesome. For some people that might be crazy. This has been happening since I'm 6 years old. So, I don't know what to tell you. It's God will speak to me in very quiet, succinct voices. He never gives me very much of a story. He never says, he never guarantees anything. There's just these little words that pop up, and
it's not a text message, right?
Say, "Oh, come on, really? Like, really? Can't you give me a little more than that?"
Yeah, I know it.
And so I hear, "This is yours to do." And I'm like, okay, but then you better have my back on this. And my last 2 years have been the most exquisite experiences on stage at my event. What I learned is that it wasn't the content that needed to be changed. I needed to be changed. Myself, I needed to be truly broken down and rebuilt back up again.
I've probably been to my last $1,000 in my operating account like not three times, wow. 6+ times. I stopped getting pissed off about it after the third time, because I was just like, okay, whatever. It doesn't affect you anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm going to go bust tomorrow. Big deal. I haven't gone bust the first 3 times, so it's probably not going to happen. Yeah. And you know what's interesting, mate? Something always unexpectedly occurs where you don't lose it all. You make a sale, you kind of pull a rabbit out of the hat, and you recover, and all of a sudden you're back to the races. You know what I mean? When folks ask me, Angela, how is that possible? I guess I can get a little bit philosophical and spiritual here with you, but I truly believe that good attracts good. If you look, first of all, let me start off by saying this: nothing beats hard work. So if you think you can go into a kind of business and dilly-dally, be one of those entrepreneurs and Instagram posers, forget about it. That's not what business is about, dude. You don't see the richest and most successful businessmen and entrepreneurs on Instagram. They don't have the time, mate, to be on Instagram. You're too busy in the day-to-day, right? So first of all, nothing beats hard work. Second, I truly believe that you need to be a good human being. You need to go in everything that you do with not just the right mindset, but your heart and soul have to be pure. And if your heart and soul are pure in your business endeavors and in your business dealings, you're never going to fail. You can't fail, because there's always going to be something that's you can call it God, you can call it Buddha, you can call it karma, call it whatever the hell you want. The sun, it doesn't matter. Whatever you believe in, it doesn't matter. Just be a good human being, and you can't fail, because there's always going to be something that's going to save the day for you last second. It's happened to me over and over and over and over again.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow, because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.